country stands still as an irresistible force prepares to meet an immovable object. The first of the All-Ireland football semi-finals sees Kerry, the champions of Munster, take on the pride of Ulster, Armagh. It could be the tale of two subs, with Maurice Fitz on the bench. The 1997 champions have plenty of firepower in reserve. Armagh's all-star Dermot Marsden will also be warming the bench. But the question is, with Kerry's attacking options, can the Northerners afford to do without him? Yes, good afternoon and welcome to a day of top-class live championship fare when Kerry and Armagh bid to reach the 2000 All-Ireland football final. Also, of course, a big day for the miners of Cork and Derry. Just an hour of football standing between them and a final appearance in September. Well, today's senior game poses so many questions. Will the tactical nous shown by the Armagh management against Derry be enough this time to scupper a Kerry team with such an abundance of forward talent? And will the omissions of Dermot Marsden and Maurice Fitzgerald prove costly for their respective teams? With me in studio to help answer some of today's imponderables, we have Pat Spillane, and I'll also be joined by Colm O'Rourke a little bit later on. Yeah, we'll be hearing from them later, but first let's go straight over to Croke Park to get the views of our commentary team. That's Martin Carney and Ger Canning.
Thank you, Michael, and very welcome to Croke Park on this All-Ireland semi-final day. It's an absolutely glorious day here. A little bit of breeze just beginning to puff up a little bit, but really it's absolutely ideal for football. And for the first time, I can tell you the new Hogan stand, if that's what they're going to eventually call it, is in business. There are about 2,000 people down there. They've got their seats down towards the Nally stand end. The miners of Cork are out in the field already, and you can hear the cheer for the miners of Derry. And I've got Martin Carney here with me. Let's discuss the senior match here. Bit of a David and Goliath in a way. 31 All-Ireland titles won by Kerry, none by Armagh.
Very true, Ger, but at the same time two very good teams in their own right, and like Armagh are coming here today, I think with a great chance actually of victory. And you're going to have two teams actually with different styles of play, so to speak. On the one hand, you're going to have Kerry trying to play the long game, trying to keep the game as open as they possibly can. On the other hand, you're going to have Armagh closing up the game, playing it very, very tight, trying to isolate their two inside forwards. It'll be a rousing affair, and I think you're going to have, you know, by the end of the day, one of the best contests we've seen in a long time in Croke Park.
Now, Armagh simply must be buoyed up by the fact that they have won the All-Ireland Club Championship through Crossmaglen Rangers yet again this year. And there are several of those players going to figure in this match.
Yes, indeed. And one of the reasons I think they have won the Ulster title again this year is because the improved performances from the Crossmaglen Rangers players. The McEntees in particular have been wonderful this year, and this team contrasts with last insofar as their midfield this year is very, very good and very, very strong and giving regular supply of ball to the forward line. The other thing about them is this, that the scoring spread, so to speak, isn't just being kind of put on Oisin McConville's shoulders. You now have young McDonnell in the forward line who's playing very well, and Cal O'Rourke at right half forward is having a very good season. So they're going to be in there with a great chance, even though you said they have never won an All-Ireland.
Okay, we've lots to talk about. Give us one prediction in one word.
Kerry by a point or two, I think, after all that.
Kerry by a point or two, and of course the throw-in for the senior match, as usual, is at 3:30.
And Derry. Kerry have beaten last year's finalist Cork and of course Clare in the Munster final. Armagh's top scorers Oisin McConville and Cal O'Rourke. 9 points apiece for them, and Darragh Canada has been top scorer to date for the Kingdom. All right, then let's bring Pat Spillane into the equation here. Pat, that 1982 match, at this point has to be made again, the growing popularity of Gaelic games. There was something like 17,000 at that game in 82, and this was the great Kerry team.
It was the Kerry team going for 5 in a row, and supposedly the greatest Gaelic football team of all time. It was Armagh in a semi-final for the first time in ages, and only 17,000. Today we have over 50,000 in the ground. You could have sold another 20,000 tickets. The interest is phenomenal, and a huge television audience as well. And changed times in Kerry. You know, Kerry people traditionally down the years forgot about semi-finals and waited for the finals. Those days are long, long gone. And the days of arrogance and overconfidence amongst Kerry supporters, even for today, is gone as well. This is a very conservative attitude, a very cautious attitude amongst the Kerry supporters coming to Dublin today.
The question is, will they be making 2 trips to Dublin this summer?
Well, I think the four semi-finalists, the two semi-finals we're going to see today and next one, I think they're really, really close ones to call. I think you could make very valid arguments in favour of each team winning in All-Ireland.
Yeah.
I have a slight fancy that the winners of today's game could go on and win the All-Ireland final. I think it's a really close one to call. There's a load of green and gold blood going through my veins, and for that reason I'm going to opt for a very narrow Kerry victory, but it's going to be a close match. If you asked me to put my shirt on my house in it, I certainly wouldn't. It's a close one to call. This is a better Armagh team than last year, a more mature attitude, better forward line. The Cross-McGlynn influences there. They've come to Croke Park on several occasions and have won. So a better Armagh team. Kerry haven't been tested yet. An easy passage through Munster. We don't know. Are they as good as they showed in the first half in Killarney or not?
Sure. Let's look at this minor match that we're going to see in a few minutes' time. Cork and Derry. Again, two good sides here in this.
Two, I suppose. Derry are probably the surprise packet. They weren't expected to get out of Ulster. Down had most of the last year's. Down won the All-Ireland minor last year and had a very strong team. This year were expected to win. Tyrone were strongly fancied, and Derry have come through, and they're a team that have had three tough matches. Beat Cavan by a point and had a goal victory in the semi-final and final. But they're a team, they're a physically strong team, and they're a team that have improved as the championship campaign has progressed. Now Cork, on the other hand, came to the All-Ireland semi-final last year against Mayo, were very, very overconfident. I think complacency caught them and were well beaten by a very good Mayo side. And now, they weren't impressive in Munster. Lucky to scrape past Clare by a point, and a late rally from Kerry in the Munster final nearly caught them. Now they've made 3 changes from that Munster final winning side, so that's a sure sign that they're worried about that performance. I have a slight inkling for Derry to win in this game.
One man that we have to watch out for here, you know him, Conrad Murphy, the Cork centre forward.
Well, it's a sign of times, and maybe it's a sign that you're getting old, because I looked at the Cork team, and centre half back Dennis O'Hare, his father was captain of the college's team in St. Brendan's with me. Declan Barron, number 10, his father was the great Cork midfielder, Declan Barron. And at centre forward, Conrad Murphy, his father, James, played club football with me in Kinmare, so he's a tremendous forward. He passed the fitness test yesterday. He has a hamstring problem. The determination of this game today could decide on the 2 centre forwards. There are 2 brilliant centre forwards, Conrad Murphy, Jim Kelly. Whichever one is curtailed, well, I think it's winners for the other crowd.
Well,
and I fancy Derry.
For the moment you're playing with you remember playing with their fathers, waitlist their grandfathers. That's when you're in real trouble. Now, however, it's time for us to take a commercial break. We're going to be back after that with coverage of that All-Ireland minor semi-final between Derry and Cork. Táisé nám an cléthe Lachana Sidir na Fernie Winor, Corky and Ayadera. Agus Shohé Miholo sé.
Guramahagat Michael agus an dá éidir na mohéide barcata Corcaig agus duide agus iad á dhéchan lé chéile sa chréibh chomórtas an sad an gahrú báta, 3 báta a bhfuil na fórnaise le chéile hana agus seohéad fuir an ghuide agus éonhuiide bháin a bhuaig duide bhíon bhua ag Corcaig faoi ró han se bh fiachanta san Gavin Donaghy agus a ghuideáir Martin Wastigda bhíad de léman áde an san agus fuir an ghuide agus sí chréibh chomórtas buite huaig a gúige alla im léanacha agus iad anna róchasach gnáidóg le an scór a chothramú atá in aig Chorcaí an sa inmh agus sné an san an bainisteúir Chris Brown bhí sé gimmert leis na sintir, bhí sé gimmert leis sintir roiide 62 go dtí 62 agus istig cainte san leho tá Paddy Crozier duine das na Rownóidí agus an Coolbáide an san Brian Scullion an Council builte amachige ó Bheilehí agus siúd agus feistethe in iad glas agus an lá a hálinn fad an sa chun pelle anna lá fad chun pelle agus beg deisigan beidir fiachant bhfuil seohéad fuir an Chorcaíon sa agus iad crunithe timppla a chéile agus bu a cosúd an aichéirí a gréibh na mún agus sinna fiachantir duine ras na hinne an san Mark O'Connor dar nó amána é siúd chomá ach an láhheile atá fuir an ghuide agus éanaharú a bháin a bhuiidan sa ón bhuiidan a bhuaig Craibhalla, Chris Collins, a gimmert stige lá slíad san Stephen Scullion a measc nuna de hisné an taharú a na cosantóí Kevin McCann, Damien Canning a lápáirce agus inis na tosathe Gavin Donaghy agus Martin Donaghy Bertje Haar. Gavin an téasóige agus beisiad a bragamórar Jim Kelly chun na scóranna a raimsúdóid. Agus seohéad atá agus iad a túirtaigad sa ardánaige sóig agus fuir an Chorcaí agus an rud céanna á dhéanamh a bhile an barcacha tá 3 athrú idan sa Chorcaí Paul Dean gimartiston mar lán cholaí an áit Ray Cahalan, Dennis O'Hare an áit Brian O'Regan agus an lápáirce an bhircíanna Kieran Murphy dar nó is amána siúd agus a measna dosathe an tríú aharú Declan Barron agus gimart an áit Gary McLaughlin. Snéad na hathrathe a déanta gefur an chorpaí Conor Brosnan hin is amána eile siúd. Han bhirrta súd hanna be siad a báta Croke gintá don gluthaí canis agus gahúrtacha ar an gaiileh dar nó sa gluthaí canis agus sinné Paul McCarthy son ó bhail an chalig Gorcuig agus moltóid amo sinné Geródio Canáva ó an gaiileh siúd ó náidtí ó an gáiltocht fear gáiltochta a múine an áhalúin agus bhí sé siúd a bhail na ngairim scoile na hana sa habáca Croke an chaid an ádaige agus túscura leis a gluthe lechanis agus Corcuig ar an únsaí bhfuilte steachgadí John Collins agus a chaite son an tas mír lethach agus mar sin an tamánaí Kieran Murphy sa cholaí mar sé siúd leis na hamánathe ach sné Sean McKenna bhfuilte steachige cuimart geasaige duine Gavin Donaghy a gáilisteach ach go háir a lorach na teleistigid Gavin an bhaid sin chiad scór go háir agus an chiad faointe Gavin ceann anna gas do hicúd second imethe agus muinte roiide agus iad sásta go maiile sin sin sanna a gáilisteach agus Paul McCarthy sleanna hid a dalamh an chatta leiis go deasaige builte lena chitóig go hálinn an chiad scór ag duine. Mar sin ciceamach an sa ag Kevin Murphy macha Joe lápáirce agus seohé Kevin McMahon builte trasna go deas go dtí John Collins John agus builte thar náisiamach go dtí Kieran Murphy agus seohé Kevin McMahon Kevin ag luiseach leis an chiadún saí a Chorcuig bhfuilte go híisiil agus sáirithe Philip Mooney bhfuilte trasna go siúd go dtí McMaster a macha Joe lápáirce agus seohé Jim Kelly ceann fada isteach go dtí Kieran O'Neill seohé Kieran Paul Dean a déarige stop Kieran a déanamh go maith Kieran ceann áard trasna an chúil agus bhfuil tipithe an son Martin Donaghy. Mar sin iirecht bhahan son ag Kieran O'Neill ach de gáinín roiada ar dheis. Ciceamach de Kevin Murphy ó bhóthar buí siúd dimar sé le gairim scoilena Chorcaí seohé bhfuil teach ag Kevin agus fachta ag Kieran Murphy an tamánaí an fear a bhíon gimmart sa chola gan na hamánathe isteach go dtí Conor Brosnan hin amánaí eile sleanathe bhuaig fachta thar náisiige Conor bhfuilte isteach go deas agus anna dhéisiige Conrad Murphy bhfuil chalais déanta Conrad níl idir a moltóid chalais déanta go Conrad idir se saist le mai sin ba gaslam ag iscint a ríist beidir agus seohé a meachtasteach agus bhfuil bhí an bhirrtacha sá chéile bhirrtachas dócha agus beidir míáil le Conrad gur chuigan cinine ina chuine agus seohé Jim Kelly imiróid anna bha an pas anna áard go dtí Kevin McCann agus chalais déantair an son ag John Collins mar sin pointe bháin ag duide go dtí Sean McKenna bhfuilte isteach go deasaige agus seohé rís Gavin Donaghy pointe fachtó chéanamhige Gavin go dtí nach dtí Martin agus bhfuilte amach an ceansa agus sáirithe go deasaige Chris Collins agus curabharasige agus deisiile ag duide fear lápáirce Kevin McCann bhfuilte go siúd go dtí Damien Canning a chu roiada ag clé ag Damien. Mar sin imehéis siar de riom rinne gona cosantóidí mar sin cic cúghéad agus dahad agus Damien Canning a dhéine sin an fear lápáirce píntíiseach tógála siúd agus bola go misce a gáilige Declan Barron ar a bhile dar nó is cíonlinn ahar Declan áard filadóir duine gus na fir íirde a héach an éireann léana líam duine chuid éirim mar sin cic cúghéad agus dahad agus deisiile ag duine an báutasa Jim Kelly anna chrín os na cican na saoir ach ceansa tóca go tappaige agus builte isteach go dtí Gavin Donaghy seansa go Gavin agus builte go Gavin builte go maithaige an tar na pointe ag Gavin. Mar sin an chiad ápointe as a chéile ag Gavin Donaghy agus an cic cúghéad agus dahad churanna fiú go deas gan aine á bharcáil agus Sehe an kick cúig agus da had builte go tappa go dtí Gavin Donaghy ní raibh aon duine an aice leis agus léanacha tóig an tarna ceann ar is dras ná. Sehe Paul McCarthy de Chorcaig a bólaisteach Martin O'Kane do chuide Bachtaige Martin agus calaí stianta bhartain ag David Burdens. Counson builte drón taobh líne Sáirithe agus Bachtaige Paul McCarthy go híseal ach Chris Collins an san do chuide. Se agus chlánamáidíontaige Chris tá ná na hoscuide chuiristeach an Conrad Murphy dar nó ach seohé Dennis O'Hare an pas go dtí Nolo Léirí nola go léide ón mailteach do chéad na marstra bhfuilte go deasaige isteach go dtí David Burdens Conor Brosnahan an Tománaí nach leis agus corcoise chuir fé ag Sean McKenna mar sin seansa Corcaig an chéad scór beidir a gháil. Agus Conrad Murphy ó Nadine a harsúd agus scrína Mickey a uncail bhíoh sé gimmert le minúd chéirí ach seohé Conrad agus tá Conrad gortathe agus ar a lábheile well is síne na cosisian áirde mar tasas a thugantaige paidir ha farghuide gortathe dar nó Conrad is beag tréála haidíontaige seo ó chréibh ceannis na mún timpeall é fihin ómataí déalúin agus sinna méid a dúirt Teddy Holland lum ach ar an lábheile anseo farghuide a bé Gavin Donaghy díirn duine na deháracha a há gortathe ar a dálabatá agus cór seo choréir do ghuide agus Gavin rápainte fachta go dísaige ó chláiste naomh column St Columns College sinné agus 7 bliana díag be sé ógaróhann chunimar a ríiste blianta chuin an deháide óg Martin ag immerte stig sa chuine agus tá Martin a taachtamachchanis agus tá Gavin a meachta Joan taobh líne chun cór leise chuir a díirn agus a rétháid Martin take heamach go dtí na letasathe agus gan éine ar Nolo Donovan láthar na huide. Mar sin Conrad Murphy chun an kicsair sa thugann rápainte ag duine go dísa an chiaadá cheanna sa chéile seohé Conrad bhfuilteige Conrad agus bhfuilteige maithaige an chiad faointe an san do Chorcaig séir kick ag Conrad Murphy sinné Conrad be sé sásta le sin suas lé 7 nómataí imar a mithe agus kickamach do Brian Scullion St Pat's Mahara agus go leor den bhuidansa ag immert locha bhuaig St Pat's ardhacha ara i gcuireann Vicrory bhfuilteach go lápáirce agus seohéad Corcaig an ónsaí Kevin McMahon an pas me himú agus seansaile bhfuil ag Corcaig ach clucathe an dalamh ag farghuide mar sin séir kick do Chorcaig agus gan é an ann an san ar Chris Collins garún leis bell ní ha ach Sean McKenna aire hinis agus Conrad Murphy chuna ceann sa thugant. Seohé Conrad bhí sé gimmert ás ar fad a gréibh na mún 7 cín de faointí stáilm go bhfuil cúcín díagaige a gáchlathe is óntacha peladóide ach is beag tréála haidíontaige le míon nuas bhfuilteige isteach a Jonah Carnoige agus clucathe an dalamh an san ag Conor Brosnan mar sin kickamach do ghuide. An cúlbáide Brian Scullion chuna ceann sa thugant. Ag léman áirde Kevin McMahon imithe bhuaig pachta Kieran Murphy bhfuilte go maithaige Kieran nach róada ar clé. Mar sin an agus deisiagain atá Gavin Donaghy nuair a gortaíocha an fel a teachtamachchan son agus Gavin Donaghy ba chosúil le thuganna Ilin Wig agus well ní dóilm go bhíon nuair a gortaíocha ach seohé Brian Scullion an ceansa a bhfulamach beidir a naid na gaotha cór na gaotha Corcaig gaiidir an áirde John Collins sleanna hihuaig David Burdens a mihuaig siúd agus séir kick do ghuide. An captain Sean McKenna isteach go dtí Martin Donaghy seohé Martin a take heamach Eric Lehan bhí sé stig sa chuine agus tu go leis róadaige i dteidir godóideoh canáha fear na fadóige Marsin, Serkick de Cork. Bhfuilte ag Kieran Murphy. Agus Shahe a gháin isteach sa Declan Barron. Declan is dúla hard a bheith amach. Ó, bhfuilte ró adar clé ag Declan. Ní bheith sé sásta lei sin. Declan agus de búntachan Teledor Sínsir é ahir le Cork. Búntachan gháil sanna ar a bhíge. Agus a bhfuil siadchan inadaí chudchan páirce táid is do cosúil Barry McGuigan. Shahe Barry McGuigan a tachan páirce do chuide Gavin Donaghy gortathe. Marsin an taharús an dianta agus gan me hecht dénomatí imara agus tuig Barry isteach idig líháin agus raig Martin isteach sa chúine a ríist. Tá Gavin Donaghy imihe. Marsin, kick amach. Wilte Joe Lord na páirce agus pachtar ríiste Kieran Murphy. Agus a ríist tá Sean McKenna ar a dalamh don tarna báta agus bec focail ag an moltóir le Kieran Murphy mar gheall sin. Tá Sean ar a dalamh gortathe don tarna huaid agus enim Kieran Murphy a dal a leabhar an moltóra. Kieran dar nó cúlbáide na na mánathe agus tarna gailteachta i caint leis. Agus corta buí de Kieran Murphy as an achtrasan ach a stolam go mbeidh Sean McKenna cat go leor beidh focail ag an maiar leis an moltóir. Sean McKenna ar a dalamh sa agus cóirlaí seacharid sgar go mbeidh sin a ceart tá sé gortathe féó ach a stolam go bhfuil focail ag an moltóir leis féin chomh mai le Sean McKenna agus tá sé chuna feileach chahabh an áirde atra. Kieran Murphy le láid agus fachta go deasanson ag Jim Kelly lena cetóig anún go dtí Paul Young ach sehe Paul Dean do Cork bhfuilte go deasaige go dtí John Collins nóla ólaide fearna gochtach dó híal na martra anna gheasaisteach go dtí Conor Brosnan bhaid Cork scóra sa Conor a meachtaisteach bhfuilte machaige agus fachtan son ag Gary McMaster agus chalís dianta ar cholam fíní Marsin Serkick do chuide bhfuiltead son ag Sean McKenna go holc sára ríist ag an nola gólaide Shahe James Masters ó réna hinnímo ach buinte go agus fachta ag an inadaí Barry McGuigan isteach Joe Kieran O'Neill agus Paul Dean fachta ag Paul Dean Paul Dean de Cork go dtí Kieran Murphy. A lorg na caidir John Collins agus Kevin McMahon. Bhfuilte isteach go dtí David Burdens. A gluiseacht go deasanis Cork isteach go dtí John Collins. Seansa go John nach ó sleanathe. Fachta gan gúlbáide. Brian Scullion. Amach go dtí Colm Feeney. Agus Shahe John Collins. Deis Kevin McMahon go dtí Kieran Murphy deis scoráil ag Kieran agus bhfuilte ag Kieran pointe de Cork ag Kieran Murphy. Se Kieran Murphy nis agus na fórne ar cóscóil. Mar sin mar a hánscóil a láthar na huaide gan má gáine atra agus deis a ríisteagain an pasáil go dtí Kieran Murphy ned an le lena cetóig cúlbáide na na mánathe Kieran Murphy agus an pointe sin fachtaige. Sin é be sé barca Croke don gréibh cheanna semána dar nó. Brian Scullion anna kick amach. Kevin McCann. Agus Shahe Kevin McMahon de Cork. Anún go dtí John Collins agus se Kieran Murphy for sé sin an cárta buí an cománaí chomá ach Shahe Eddie Burke. Amach a ríist go dtí Kieran Murphy an fearra fuide cárta buí lena cetóig ach ní bhfuil sé romaithí sáirithe ag Gary McMaster agus go dtí Chris Collins agus fachta go glóte an son an bátasan ag Paul Dean agus Shahe Kevin McMahon de Cork iarach sáirithe bhfuilte go deasaige Paul McCarthy agus Shahe, Colm Feeney, the Riddy. Colm, goody Martin O'Kane. Har Nashinish, goody Gary McMaster. Agus the Carna Kaider Kele, goody Gudas, Philip Mooney, Trasna and Son, goody Chris Collins. Ach Shahe, Dennis O'Hare. We have a show the gimmer, the Cork, come Eilish the Sheen Shed. Pach the Gudas the stick. Agus Machter in Unsea, Cormac O'Neill. Sarah Hegadasiga, Dennis O'Hare Rish, the passing the Dolomou, and Riddy. Agus the Cork, Coma, Chris Collins. The lower passing the Dolomou, Sochlahissa, Chris Collins, Count on Ord, on Vike, Jim Kelly and Counts, a good Jimmy. Dennis O'Hare the Yeganier, Jim. Shahe Jim, Rochelle Galore, Lord Scorna, a Gravola. Agus Bulte Gahard, the Kieran O'Neill, Lach Roa the Eriesh. Marshin Galore Scorna. A Dolomou and a Dahiv, Dishana Scorala, a Goramuka, Agus Dishan Sunagan, Fianter Loch Takaychte, Riddy, Agus Wilte Amach, a Joe Lord the Potke, Chancig John Collins, Pachte Inish, Ignolo Donovan, Noel Goody John, Agus Coimert Gas, Goody Kieran Murphy. Lon Foley, Colm Feeney, Walter Mahagashoot, Goody Sean McKenna, Captain. Dishiga Eddie Burke, Shahe Eddie, Agus Paul Young, Clihanach, there's Paul and Teso get a board. Nijak Shabley on the Diaga, Shahe Eddie Burke, Agus Viha Ahashu, Davy Gimmert, look the hard, but she's Tamara, Davy Gimmert, the sheet of Hotby, Ahsha, as they're kicked already. By she says that zone the card now, we get a captain. She no Matidia Emeremehe, secured that. Agus Deshiga Kieran O'Neill. Wiltigama, Agus Wilta Harrishet Rasnan, Sha, on 2 painted already. Marshin, Tadiri, Emehe, Erash Huntasig. Seeking Agus Desheligan on the kick Tevline, Bulte Topic, Agus Pachte and Son, Agus Bulte Crean Dierich, Harish Drasnan and Order. Marshin Kieran O'Neill, Agus and Counson, Harish Drasnan, they get Chief Wintiga, they did a high count again perfect. Agus Shahed Declan Barron, Duola Harda Vegama, Istakadi James Masters, Aquinta Willig, Philip Mooney. Sure, puck kick Tevline, Dochorkig. Agus a lot of the Kaidemo, Kieran Murphy, and Waishan Council. Kadayana Shed, the Dorishet Fesco, Staka Joe the Carno Gebeded, Trasna on Huil. Chancige McMahon, Quintero, Agus Chris Collins, the Taktamach, Sean McKenna. Sarah has Tripper Andalov, Ega John Collins. Marshin Darudi Benosacha, Anian of Saklohe Sagadisa, we made a Sule Anachlohe, Gadisa, on score, Anna Ishel, Anna Lachen, Kaiti, Agasha, Sean McKenna, Captain Ready, aha, Nivati Iro, Glesh, Kaigan Maltoid and RD, Nikaderish and Yanov, Marshin Tan Maltoid, and Felcher, Havan Orde, Hoch Nomati Diak Emeremehe. Gerodio Knava Agus Babaha Timiro de Henig, Gamortus Pelena Goeltochter, Spagnum Leon, Wiltelena Goran, the Kieran Murphy, Estakadi John Collins, Chancega John, Wiltiga John, Nagastana Hornet Coast Goal. John Collins, Pinta on David, John Collins, Conrad Murphy, Agus Kieran Murphy, Agus Chiki Nigadidi, Gavin Donaghy, Ferro. And Faragorti, Agus Shahariste, a Martha Stachanso, John Collins, Schliedi and the Garohenig, Agus Buntigadasige, Idern the Quilly. Law even Greene, Borke Croke, and Fell Bultamachiga Scullion, the Joe Lord Porke, Factoriste, John Collins, and Parafoy the Pointe, then the Horn Goodin, Nolligola, Farnagoel Tochter, Hawk and the Yaugige, Buntagohiga, Jim Kelly, and we don't say on Jim, Buntistahagan is on the Geshan, is a Kieran and pull-up win to get Kieran O'Neill. Kieran O'Neill is a pull-up win to get Martin Donaghy. Dishiga scored a goal. Martin builte go hard ag Martin agus pointe ag Martin. Martin bidi mehe chuntasig Martin Donaghy. Ach Rivishin an Darag Via le Kieran O'Neill an polo. Agus Seo Deisigan seo hé inis an Iarachtan built an polo built ag Kieran O'Neill an Darag Vialis agus yn edrych le pwynt ag Martin Donaghy seo hé Jim Kelly yn achterstach chans ag Jim built ag Jim ag pwynt ele sgôr ma ag Jim Kelly an faraha gymryd dyr y nahat slag agus an Keith Cownatson ag lor sgôr yna ag Revola ag Jim Kelly agus Marsin Rá pwynt paraspaid inis ag gydwydi agus Marsin an Counter built amach agus dydi rís danach a dŵn sy'n anian am inisio Macht de stach agus Deisiau le ffos, macht lo stach gytrin a chalais diantat son agus wel maha ni mona sas da hana Cork iglesin ach Marsin hyn sy'r cic dy gwydi agus Kieran O'Neill an farafwyl y polo sio agus yn Counson cwragadas hanes y dras nawn ag Marsin ta dydyn nhw ochdar yn ish le tamalin fe hyn o myti ymar ymhe agus Sinead double score inis double score yna ag dydi agus an treflin eto Sinead Mick O'Loughlin agus Teddy Holland yn son an bainish dywyd agus na Raunoidi Chorcwy Ian Murphy imni Chorcwy gyda'r na lahar na hwydi mae'r fydd ar gôl gyda isa agus Sinead Teddy Holland fan y treflin bwynt y stachat sa agus Deisiau gyda Cork ag Calais Holasach diantat son Chorcwy Marsin Conor Brosnan agus ni he hwgwg yn Council na dirn Fedr gyfe James Shah Conor Brosnan James Masters ar y hymach fan eisiau hwgwg yn dirn James Masters par rein na hyn imo captain na ffwrna Wiltig a siŵd, trasna na poetge Yn so Gwyddi Kevin McMahon Anna Hansig a Kevin agus Wiltig a hard ag a Kevin agus Wiltig a mahag a Kevin Pwynt ele ag a Kevin McMahon An pas fachtige o Conor Brosnan agus Lochta cwych da gwydi ach siad Corcwig a ffwydi Counson Marsin Rá pwynt ysgarwnt na fwrna o chéle Agus sio he yn so Kevin McMahon chiste an kick trefline a roil agus builte gadasige an padlar podke haris dras nawn. An Tennedy Barry McWigan is Shelif na pelle Shohe Barry macht es stach Barry dianam gama hoine shere bord gan rohar ag Barry agus builte ga hard agus anna pointe ag Barry McWigan. Sha an Tennedy hoine kan podke or rohar agus anna pwyinte yn erin le. Marsin, dydi, agus Sio y mechtastach Barry McWigan o'r drwch ar ffadiant ag byrt na iaw gynir yn chaid tygilish gydas ag agus bwyltig yma. Marsin, Sio Kevin McMahon, Lena Goran gyda nôl o leid eich pas ym hymw. Drofas. Wiltestach, Rohemach, Martin Donaghy. Daar nog de haar kost te hit. Wilte haar nasig a siŵl gyda Kevin McCann. Yn ei hach gyda Damien Canning. Damien, chance gyda Damien. Cawn eisiol. Stach a John Hwyl. Ac yn ein strwydd Kevin Murphy. Kevin y tacht amach. Eddie Hwynys. Amach gyda Paul McCarthy. Ach o, hymyn hymwyr. Rai si har nasig gwy. Ond talish. Amach anish gyda Nolo Donovan. Agus ysboel o'ch ala heitchen dy pasali. Yenno. A gwmpr na caidio, gwyni gyda ni, John Collins. Agus sio Conor Brosnan. Conor, bwylte gyda asig a Conor. Yn fai corpig y count ag Noig, David Burns. Sio David. Matt de Vicky, y fi cha gymryd chys na siintir, a chai gost hy. Agus sio Sean McKenna. Matt gyda sawl ag Eddie Burke. Wiltig agus gwael fas yn air yn son ag Declan Barron. Wiltige, Harwen, Sarah get Dapish, Gary McMaster. The pass the Dolomura. Damien Canning. Never Martin Donaghy, back to Gadasic Martin. Shahe Martin, a Gualistach. Shahe Martin go forward. Honest the fuel. Fastnagus, College Dinter, Cormac O'Neill, Martin. In the Tachlan Park of the Cork, Paranoid. Martin. Aharua Janovic Cork. Agus an Tennedy, Mark O'Connor an Tamani, dar no Amani, Untach an Farsa, the Cork, agus Jack Conrad Murphy and Fargorevan, a town on the Huskud and on hamstring Gurtihige, or Crave the Moon, dar Edem near of Dientige, near of Dienta the Renalige Conrad Murphy, ach Fihinomati, Delawin, Shinamaid, and Derek Violish, ach Pa Mark O'Connor, Takahe Edibord, agus is Anna Feladoid, is Anna Amani, Mark Homa. Martin an sair kick, da ryddi I Kieran O'Neill, agus bwyltig yma ag Kieran O'Neill, an tiw peinti I Kieran O'Neill, da ryddi. Cynnes yna, 3 gyn gydisa, 8 gyn fad, agus ryddi, agus darna, da chyrif peinti atra, agus sy'n engrach, hwg nomati da lehama. Kevin Murphy, Amaha Joe Law Park, Art Watson here on Sunday, Kieran Murphy. Halish Dinter Kieran, Connor Brosnan, Agus Kieran Wilchestachatsa, Agus Shanson is again Connor Brosnan, the Vice Only way before Shahid John Collins, Wiltiga John, Harrison Drasnan and all. Martin. Come on, lift it. Martin, pointed Assenson. Kieran Murphy Law Park, Conrad at time hit. Conrad at time in the Hatzlatach. Dishigan, Isha, Yishkin to reach, the Machtastach, Dishit Factamilet son, they get Connor Brosnan, Bader at Hole, Sarahe, get Brian Scullion, Fakta get John Collins, against John Collins, Harrison Drasnan. Martin. Agus Conrad Murphy, Shaq Conrad, and Faraha Gortihe. Agus Pioneer that no on hamstring, no town on the Huskude, Gortihe. Agus Gortihe Anna Hamel. Wiltamachatsa, agus Fakta get Sean McKenna. Light of Wig, Shahe David Burtons. Stakedy John Collins, a Vaisha County, Chance get Burton, Tachurakon. John Collins go forward, Chance Fortica. Wilta Trustner, Dixon Barron, John Collins. Agus, the Wind College Dinter, Gary McMaster, Neil did a Multo, Shahe Connor Brosnan. On Passamihamu, John Collins, Jesheliga John, Agus Anna Harvard, Anna Husson Dinter Gadidi, Agus College and Holland Feeney. Oh, Anna Husson just had Dinter Gadidi, College at Son and Holland Feeney. A Cork could say in the Toot Fair Hole, Agus Art Husson Dinter Husson Toidi, Rudi, Shahe. And so Colin Feeney, Eredala, because John Collins and Paragina College, Agus Grodio Canova, allowed the shoot, Agus a Cura Enim in the Lour, Agus Shaq Cortabui, the John Collins, and Parna Cortabui, Count Bui Hanna, Ega Kieran Murphy, Agus the Colin Feeney, Eredala, Corlaishachor and Colum, Bisha shoot the Gimmert, Sanastroil, Fishach Diag, Snug, the Kochlahi, and the Rig, Printishach Plomoidach, the Colum. Agus Anna Husson Dinter Gadisige. Martin. 3-20 idir na fódna, a láthar na huide. Shahe James Masters. Derek Schlie gan of the hen. Captain na fódna. James a Maclish, Lenach Atoig, Chance Mahige, Wiltiga James, agus Anna Fuinte. Cownans Broid, I think James Masters. Captain na fódna, and Hiet Count Woig, agus Congrach de la Hammer, Bader scored Kinny on the Horo. Martin, Jeshet Sohagan, and Fellenson again Connor Brosnan, agus Count Hoshet Trasna, and Chanceviga John Collins, and Aguala Maclehe, and Lon Holy, Colin Feeney, agus and Khalaisha Dinafed, agus Shahid Cork Erenon Series, the Fakta Gadasa Martin O'Kane, went to Shiragashin, Trasna Nishkadi, Sean McKenna, agus Khalaisha Gashu, Serkik the Cork and one for a stack, Tapagi, Gadi Mark O'Connor near dinner, Hadish Kuramu. Agus Dishiga James Masters Bader and score an bharna a leidú. Seo hé James Masters an a chóngrach an isto le hama. Y Láslí, ba chóid ganaid ó flis. Wiltige James, agus Wiltige Dasaga James, agus Quintele, ní latar an ish, ach ein Quinte báin. Masin, na fórne, choram goma a dús ama, an son blidi ag machtan cín, an tulla bwilte ge Kieran O'Neill, Cork ge tachtar eis. Eis giel na himmer a gadísa. Agus bainish dúil chuide, Chris Brown, bhíoh sé gimmert leis na sínsir, dimmer sé le duide, 62, gudí 62, is pílim féin, immert na chuine, den so, y bort na Croke ge 62, ag lehis strahe. Ach, Shahid, duide, y cosint, agus y cosint gymach, ddim ar cosint, Chris Collins, Stech a Láslí, Anna Chaliwn to Cork darno, Conrad Murphy, ach Shahid, Barry McWigan, Ridda, Martin Donaghy, Gauganir, Paul Dean, me hemach Harris a Devline, agus kick Devline, Widich like immer a mehe, agus en Pointe Boin, Shileva Latra. Kick Schlasse, the Horkig, Declan Barron, Edira Gerol, me hemach Harris a Devline, agus anish, Kick Schlasse, the Rudi Ediran. Marsin tá Mark O'Connor a mehéad a nahat slát, tó hána séisteach agus. Annach Wall san éirigin, Nolo Donovan, Annach Wall, bhfuilte go deasige, Nolo Leide, chad na gaeltocht a machgadí John Collins, machta go deasige John, duine, bert corragóige John, bhfuilte go deasige, Conor Brosnan, bhfuilte mach le na ghoranige Colm Feeney, agus fachtige Gary McMaster, and that old shete college didn't get Gary, Hosmir Lehach, agus Dishiga Corkbig and Goharamoshi the score of Gorlahama, so hey David Buttons. David Buttons, agus Kenneher Roade, again David Buttons, Hagirodio Canova, and again the shot. He faded if Mad Roade, Nomad Gully, the push Lahoidich Lake, Emeramehe, agus Shansiga Dude, Jim Kelly, what to Stachage? Oh, and a Hansen is a get Kieran O'Neill. Dickinson against Kevin Murphy. Wow, vi chans to get it. Kieran O'Neill and Parna chance to get it. Agus Shahi Kieran O'Neill. Wilchan Pulla Erdouche and Bautison Kevin Murphy. Martin Rohans and Rohul Emihamu at Kieran on Darag Viole Kieran. Rohano mit Brische inish le push le hoidech league. Agus Counson bhfuilte go deas, agus bhfuilte go gara, agus chance óntacha Jim Kelly inis. An ille ábhidín gíar Jim, bhfuilte go Jim, agus seacharán a Mar sin, ní raibh an san le duine. Agus tá sé lehama in Quinte Bhain, is garún na bhórne ó chéile an so. A bhart na Croke, a láthar na huidig, is sinné John Collins a fágad na páitcin so, for sé ráfainte, agus sinné Kieran O'Neill an fear bhfuil pulla, agus an fear gur hábháil Kevin Murphy a chicken son, díadach rih le hama, agus mar sin, gan natara ach an taon faointe a bháin an so, a bhart na Croke, agus le hama, agus duidech an cín, ná da hochtige duide, ná da seachtige Corkig.
Well, Derry had the better of it, but there was just a 1 point in it at half-time. Analysis of that match, also looking ahead to the senior game after the break.
People put a lot of emphasis on history. I don't think the present team do. Cross McGlen hadn't won an All-Ireland title before, now they've won 3. We're looking at Kerry today, to see if we can beat them, to take that sort of step further, to see if we have a chance to go on.
Football has changed over the last couple of years, Kerry were in the All-Ireland final in '97, but before then, we hadn't dominated Munster football yet, never mind, in national level. So we're just delighted to be back again, and we're going to give it our best shot.
I would hope I captain the way I play, and that's take things sort of like head on. You know, if something needs to be dealt with, I'll deal with it. But at the same time, I hope like I wouldn't be too sort of over dramatic about certain things, that like, you know, I'd leave certain situations up to other people, like the same way as I play. Like if someone needs to kick the ball over the bar, leave that to Tyson or Diarmuid or Stephen or Cahill. If somebody needs to catch the ball around the middle, I leave that to somebody else. I do what I have to do when I have to do it, and hopefully like it's just enough to keep everybody ticking over.
I always maintain the role of captaincy is a little bit over-exaggerated, you know. At the end of the day, I'm fighting for my place. You know, I went in training in January at the start of the year like any other of the players, and, you know, I'm fighting for my place. And, you know, it's just a great honour. Like, I suppose the only difference to being a captain is that you receive the trophy if you do win it. You know, if you lose, there's absolutely no advantage or disadvantage of being a captain.
I'd say it's probably very hard to break into the closeness of the team. Like, there's very few outsiders who would probably sort of infiltrate that. I'd say that's probably our biggest characteristic, that we play for each other. It's something that the team really sort of like want to do. Like, I don't think they'll ever leave a player out on their own.
I suppose if you look at even the last game against Dublin and Kildare, Dublin played very well for one half, and you know, they just didn't get going the second half, and we seem to have a little bit of that, you know, that characteristic with us as well. And you know, we can't afford to do that today against Armagh. We'll have to play for the 70 minutes.
I wouldn't say there's any pressure like from outside the team itself. The pressure that we create, like, is one, they give us that wee bit of incentive, like to push ourselves that wee bit harder. I think a lot of the players have grown up recently, and they're not trying to please the crowd, they're not playing to please the reporters or the critics. They know, like, no matter what to do, they're not going to keep everybody happy anyway.
They are a big, strong physical team, but I still don't think that's their biggest, you know, that's their biggest strength. I think if you look at their team from number 1 to 15, they're all very good individual footballers and can play football at the highest level, and they've shown that with their club and with their county over the last year or two.
Every team wants to put as many scores on the board as they possibly can. At the end of the day, like, you can defend all you want, but if you haven't enough scores on the board, like, you're not going to win. And I just hope that, like, a lot of our forwards hit, like, form and put the scores over that we need. I don't really care now if it's 1 point or 7 points, as long as we're ahead at the end of 70 odd minutes.
Yeah, the views of the captains with some 50 minutes to go before the throw-in for that senior All-Ireland semi-final. The minor match is the one we're concentrating on. We're returning to that after this commercial break. A quick word from Pat Spillane before we go back to the action. Cork would have to be happy enough. They're a point down, but they could have been a lot further behind if Derry had actually got some of those goal chances.
Well, Derry had created and got the 2 best goal-scoring chances, and they both fell to the same fella, Kieran O'Neill, misjudged here by the Cork defence. Now, fair play to the goalie, Kevin Murphy, came out at a narrowed angle. Kieran O'Neill probably did everything right in a way, but he was just quite unlucky to hit the post. But at least a good opportunism by young Donaghy after to get a point, so they got something out of this attack in the end, and it fell to Kieran O'Neill, the second goal chance as well. And again, I think credit to Kevin Murphy. I think Kieran O'Neill took the right option not to pick up the ball. Kevin Murphy came out, narrowed the angle, good save, unlucky. If they had scored that, they'd have been 7 points up now. Cork have lost Conrad Murphy. He's their best, he's by far their best player. 15 points he scored in 2 championship matches. The next highest scorer has scored 1-1. That'll show you how big a loss he is. But funny enough, Cork upped their game after he went on and scored 3 points without reply. So I would still fancy Derry, but the last 10 minutes, poor opening 20 minutes, last 10 minutes the game has upped the pace, and we're seeing better football. And we're seeing more scores.
Often the case, Colin O'Rourke, when you lose a star player, that the others realise they have to work a little bit harder.
Oh, that's absolutely true. In every situation we've nearly seen it, that when the best man or so-called best man goes off, everybody plays better. We can see it with Armagh and Diarmuid Marsden as well, and I suppose maybe Kerry with Maurice Fitzgerald, they don't seem to have been affected too much, so maybe everybody else takes a bit more responsibility.
OK, time for the second half. Let's go back again to Croke Park.
Gurmahagat Michael, agus on Multoid, when on Felicha have an order, agus Toos Correlish at Tarnalahan so, a Borka Croke, agus Shahir Didi, Edin Sea, Kevin McCann, Stachs the Huine, agus Partagadas Stiggit so, Martin Donaghy, Tarnota, Martin in the Sticks the Huine, Shane Brian O'Regan, Ach Martin if we count some Gadas, on Hadar, Taka Histaka Tapikrig, agus Deshigik, Kieran O'Neill. Sja, Kieran agus Quinte Ivirik Caherige. An Counson, Volte ige Kieran, and Ishta Raffinte, Ider the Forne, agus Corna Guihe, Igdidi, and so Satarnale. Agus Marshin, David Burns, Emihe Dunboyd, the Cork, agus I me histachata sa chuine seo he Gavin Martin Donaghy an Counson Wulte ach an immortal an raig Didi an onsi ríist agus deisian is ge Paul Young an TSO get a bóid Shibli an the diag dí se ha Paul Young agus seo he ríist Martin Donaghy seo he ríist an vai sé score printed as ge Martin Donaghy se Martin an son agus an pad na pointes an immort fachtige siúda dine an chalí seo chéanamh chomá mar sin trí pointe sí cínta pointe hir ar na fórne agus seo ríiste amachtasteach an fel builte trasna an son ige Paul Young go dtí Martin Donaghy lenacha tóig ar is drasná. Seo he Kieran Murphy de chorcaig a chaíireach táirithe Kieran a ríist builte haar náisiige gur nó go dtí Dennis O'Hare agus Dennis O'Hare isteachcha go dtí James Masters Teledóil maithe James so rinne hinnímo captain na fórne agus be Corcaig a Derry an bhearna a líadú. Trí cín de pointí is garúnt na fórne a láth na huide an chrían a taineh isteach na húla bhfuilte go deasaige agus sanna faointe an son ag James Masters par rinne hinnímo agus ba bhínig isisiú a gimmert le fórna faoi ís rinne hinnímo tá sé fanéal na sínsir a gimmert go hiidir bheannach le rinne hinnímo. Brian Scullion agus sné Teddy Holland Teddy a bhícha gimmert le sínsir chorcaí chomá agus ba bhathe peledóidí sna tusa bhíh sé gimmert. Brian Scullion amachchan sa go dtí Damien Canning afach Chaléistíontar Damien agus Serkic do chuide. Se bhfuil gortúid caafar cóirlaigh a chur ar arghuide stólam. Seo hé Sean McKenna trasna go dtí Barry McGuigan Chaléistíontar Barry bhfuilte go tappaige anúnansa go dtí taobh na láimh clí mar a bhfuil Cormac O'Neill isteach go dtí Ciarán O'Neill seansa go Ciarán chuneas go dtí Cormac tá dhéanana Cormac go meach leis isteach leite buig agus cosint bha diantan son ag Eddie Burke trasna go dtí John Collins seo hé James Masters a ríist dianta go deas ag James chudas choiríire meach leis isteach Sean McKenna i dtíar agus stop agus bachta go deas a stigad son nach a drachán sáirithe a son ag Gary McMaster Mark O'Connor a bhfuil isteach go dtí Gary McMaster nach bhuiide amach leo go deas inis agus Barry McGuigan Barry meach leis agus Kevin McCann a dtíar agus stop agus chaléistíonta go Kevin McCann Barry McGuigan agus Jim Kelly a dtíarn a thópaigh go ceannsa mar sin bhfuilte isteach sa chuoine agus fachta stigh ag Martin Donaghy Martin ach cinna heróada ag Martin agus kick amach mar sin Serkic do chuide do chorcaig agus fearghaide gortathe stólam go bhfuil sé gortathe le tamalín se Kevin McCann tá sé siúd gortathe le tamil agus cóirlaigh seachar ar inis don tarna báta Kevin a gimmert a lár táithce agus go dtí St Mary's secondary chu sé siúd agus é sé bliana díag an san go dtí St Pat's Mahará agus bhuiig sé craobh gaidim scoilena fé sé díag leduide agus Chris Brown hénig ábhréineáil agus seo hé Kevin Murphy Tá Brian Rainey gimmer stick sa chuine I Cork chuma oir sa an tarnale.
Take it, Dylan, go! Go, Dylan, go!
This Shahe Kevin McMahon.
Cover, no, take cover!
Kevin McMahon agus College Dinted.
Want to run, Sean, want to run! Get back, David, can I get back?
Shahe John Collins, Martha Joan Tevline chuma Chris Collins. Bert the Winter Collins ach me hemach har se Tevline. Wiltestach gedi Conor Brosnan. Wacht go dasige Conor agus College Dinted Conor. Martin ser kick the Cork. Agus James Masters chunne count sa gol.
Bring and boat, Sean! Sean, up the post!
Shahe James Masters for she 3 point to Gadisa. And Vaishan Caru count, I hit again Fachtige Kieran O'Neill chuma. Shahe James agus builte go dasige James agus pointe every caher the Cork ag James Masters. Sinéanson James Farrain Hinimo agus well is beagaha idir na fór so agus Shahed meinted art wacha dar no leis a gluhim úr agus iad anna róchas a fad gneid ó gló im léana. Bachta go das ag Kieran Murphy ach an passa me him ó agus Sean McKenna óide College Dinted ag Sean agus ser kick the Cork. Count Anna Ord. Brian Rainey, chance to get Brian the counts of oil. Chani Vaig, Tashi Winterho. They get Cormac O'Neill. Agus Shahe Damien Canning. Agus a Ruhishtach Paul Young and Teso get a ball. Shibli on the dear Dish, Shahan Parsa. Bishan of Vinouil. They did it. Gary Lesh, a couple of playing a Kenny Hero, and they get Emmy Hero at the Lishabel. Shahe Kevin McMahon. Kevin McMahon, the Cork, Febru. Agus Shahe Damien Canning, the Rudy. Trasna Inish, Goody Kieran O'Neill, Count Anna Ord. And I do it. Parguide, ní Yannick, Barry McWigan, agus Tepe and Sonnet. Martin, ní latarachan, point of oin, agus Keyoga counts Anna Hwal, agus Kieran Murphy. Kieran. Wiltige, Trasna the Podke. Cork Dianav Gomahanish, James Masters, the Stahat Sogadi, Nullig Olade, Parnagal Tochter, Nullig, Kaunanava, Butchestahat John Hulige, Agas, I did a free and have no live edition. On me all, and Nullig Olade and son, that no, or Hill the Master, Agas Vichavaher Shoot and Son Ronile, Shano Shihoin, Vishagimer Clemenoid Corky and Lidig, Nullig Olade, Agas Olan Clade. Moide daar no. I builte fuhe. Rennery. Didi inish machter in ons eiges. Anna Scoper fadige Chris Collins. Down share Chris. Agus fachtige mahage Damien Danahis. Anna Felidode Damien, the markedi Paul Young. Paul Young. A two-face score, and a count of Paul Young, and get scored against Paul Young, and Teso get Eddie Boyd. Shibli on the dear Dish, Maravis Olive, Agus, Canana Hochter Fachtige, the Rudy. Agus Loch Takichte, Ordwache, and so get Shea and Homa, Loch the Twishkers, Agus Dahana, the Dahana, Taishachason, the Fishkin to so, Barca Croke. Agus Shahe. An Tamani Darno, Wilta Trasnige, Mark O'Connor, Acha, an Adog Sheetig and Multoid, Agus Ser Kick the Horkick. Kieran Murphy, a Hokig Council. Mac the TJ Murphy, Banistoid, Fabianus Vihan on the Mona, his Stakari, James Masters, Chansiga James. Now Douglas of Arnold Dugadi, Print of Oin, Lenakatoig, Anna Yas, Anna Colleen, again James Masters. Wedinish, Shine, and Kuyo Print, again James Masters. Agus, need Atranish, Ach, Ian Count of Oin. James Hagasay Coidi, on Counts and Diantagamahaga. Agus Bologomishka Alorogage, Schneemach the Stache, James Masters, the Bertin Pullet, Vinica, Gary McMaster, a Rovaga, Agus Bultagadas, Lenakatoig. Brian Scullion, the Macha Joe Lord Parkacha, and Corkuicha Gaidiga Hard, Agus Schnee, Kevin McMahon, Nish Kieran Murphy, Stachanish, Goody. Brian Rainey and Trinity Hannigan Bart. Brian Rainey, Ishtach Goody. Conor Brosnan. Wilt Agus, Printed at the Hurpig and Ishmashin, Connor Fordne and Post Gold. Ishin Diantagadas and Ian Finted Diaganish on the Ev. Agus. On Trinity, Brian Rainey, Sostaga Mahanson Lishin. Niach on the Horpig. Agus in the deal Tachan Parkinson, Stephen Scullion, Barry Hagerty, because Tagamara had a board, Barry Hagerty had a board kick, did he? Again, Cork, Agus the Brian Rainey, Barry Hagerty. Nish Martian, on the deal, and so Agus Yalro, Gurbe, Philip Mooney at Emihin. Did it?
Take it, grab it!
And Pachtagadeth and Sundaga Eddie Burke. Porkaganish and Hoyd, Colleen, Hodichan Tossagate, and why she there? Go back to Stacks and Upton Sundaga and Gorkuir. Agus College did Eddie Burke, Martian Sir, kick the Horpig. Agus Animadol Laura Voltora, Shaq, Chris Collins, Marial, Eden Mola, Stacks and Upton, Eddie Burke. Anim Chris Collins, the Agus Cortaboy, the Chris Collins, and Trio Counanu. Martian, James Masters, Honey Counts the Hogan, the Horkig, Will to get Asiga James, Trust on the Porky, Agus and Padlock Porky, Kevin McMahon, Shahi Kevin, and Passamihimu, Opach, Agus. Pachta Gadasiga Colin Feeney, a passo, the hell, and Darago, Ledidi, but now the Shelley, because so when you get in it, Quantama, Hadlot Park, Akshahe, Nolagolade, Kieran Murphy, Rutrasna, the Conor Brosnan, Agus College, the Colin Feeney, Conor Brosnan is Daka Tapik, Drackown, Brian Scullion, Wiltamahaga, Agus Shahe, Gary McMaster. Gary McMaster, Maharash at the Hevline, Overdone camera roll. Martian Lashley, she the Tarnala, Agus Neil Margoyne, Edger the Fold, Tasha the Kohara. Kieran Murphy. Dachagus, Lydia Cossent, Markady Damien Canning, the other fella who to Machloha. Martian, Shahe, Nolagolade, Hill the Master, Anna Felladoid, a Tarnablian as a Hale, at Igadi Dennis O'Hare. And can he row at the Ega Dennis against Martian, safe kick. agus Kieran O'Neill itson sa bhar na bhil ach bachtaigh James Masters agus tripcuthe an dalamh ag James Masters an míáilis nola go léide mar sin chéigeúig an chiad scóra le chéraigh chuntasig beag Paran na deile i teach an páirciig duide i dtíar an golua mar sin duide i an únsaí ach seothe Paul Dean trasna go dtí John Collins seothe John Collins fu sé áfaínta sa chéad le Har nationis go dtí seothe Brian O'Regan Hánig i báirciig le hama agus anún go dtí Marco Panner, Palísteanta agus Zirkick de Corkig a bhíad Corkig a raig fan cín agus seo ina dí tachan páirce an sa dogaidí mar sin fear dul an leabhar tóra agus sné captain ghaide Sean McKenna se cárta buí an ceathrú cárta buíthe agus an tinadaí do ghaide se ó dríon takeithe ar a bárc agus Damien Canning ag amacht Conan O'Brien agus Damien Canning imithe agus cárta buí ag Sean McKenna captain na fórne snéan sanna an ceathrú cárta buí eisithe ag Giróideo Canáva seothe James Masters Lenachitó agus steach Jonah Carnoig agus sáirthaiste ag nóbáide agus Palísteanta se sábháil rahansan ag Brian Scullion be sé sásta lei sin kickpa ó James Masters agus seohensa James Masters a bula na caide go glóirteisteach go Jonah Carnoig go bhuirteisteach agus sáirithe go deas ag Brian Scullion agus deisilegann a teachtaisteach ag gló bhuirteisteach le na ghoran an san ag Barry Hagerty ach sábháilta ag Brian Scullion Corkig ar an ón series James Masters a steach Jonah Carnoig a teachta go deas an san ag Colm Feeney Bhuirteach an sa go dtí an onadaí Conan O'Brien agus sé churamach haris a dé bliana kick slasa a bheith ann do Corkig se go féon ceann fíortháchtach in is mar go bhfuil na póirne ar cóscóil James Masters steach a láslí ach sáirthain ag Cormac O'Neill do gcuide agus sa cúrú siar atá Eddie Burke bhuilteige go dtí Brian O'Regan go dtí Dennis O'Hare seohéad Corkig ag gluiseach go deas bhuilteisteach go dtí John Collins Hadnais go nula gála éide páirna gailteachta anar faointe go nula gála éide ó cíl na mastra se de chana haí ag an bmhathasúil is páirta Croke ag bhíoh sin na rónaí go seán ó sí cháin ach seohéad tarna bliana go nula ganúid Corcaí agus sin pointe anatháchtach ag an nula agus seohé an haid chuiristeachansa ag John Collins go dtí nula gála éide agus nula idir na cuilí Kevin McMahon agus Counson fachta go deasaige ach Palísteanta bhuilte go tappaig ag Kieran Murphy go dtí John Collins Corkig ag Cormac go deas is Declan Barron an bhaid Declan pointe ghuid Declan a dhearach slí gan at a hen bhuirteach go dtí James Masters anna níos géidir is ach bhuirte raid go dtí Declan amachtas is steach Georgie an a bhaid agus ó tracán an méá le Declan Barron ní bheith sé sásta le sin an Counson chur seachrán ach seothe ríis deisigan an ile gíar a ghóthain ar afach cóngracht an lína cúil amachtas isteach lenachatóig agus go seachránach mar sin déanamatí páca in faointe bháin idir na fód agus seohéad Corkig agus seohé an tamánaí Mark O'Connor anna amánaí agus peladóid crohananta chomá anna chiicbuig agus anna faointe Mark O'Connor sin cán inspiráideach Mark O'Connor bheith sin sa a báirca Croke leis na hamánaithe agus tháinig sé a báid go naig chéirí a gréibh cheannis na mún agus dhéimar sé ar aus seohé an fellfachtan sa thuige Mark O'Connor slídianta go héin anna chiic Anna Fuinte ag Marco Connor. Marsin o Rá Fuinte idir na fórna inis. Ryan Scullion, Krasnansa, John Tevline, Pachtige Kevin McCann, Nishivega Chiller Ride, Hashat Rá Fuinte and Derek, Rohistachto, Paul Young, a Machansogri Kevin McCann, Agus Kalish Dienta Anton, Stephen Scullion, Marsin, Serkick, Doride, Agus Fuinte Tastalwaha, Alidocha Verna, Kieran O'Neill, Wiltige Garrigue, Beshe Alora Carnash, Pachtige Kieran, Durishe score, Wiltige Kieran, Agus Wiltige Dassiga, Agus Shin and Panda Fuinte Satarnala on Kugu counterpart, again Kieran O'Neill, Agus Loch Takich the Ardwacha, Anna Hostel Shin, Fivine, and Fuinte Vine in the Sharish, Nomatagas Fihe Imramehe. Shahe an pasfachtige, Chesta an Hicke Hootwig, Agus Buntige Dassige, Parashid Rasnaun. Keyoge Counts, Kieran Murphy, on Tamani, Hayarach Sarah, Amani Ele, Connor Brosnan, the Tactic Audid, Palish Denton Connor, Buntige Topic, as Anna Happy Stafford, Kevin McMahon, Shahe Kevin, on the score, Kevin, Colin Evership, on the Anna Hall, the stage of Brian Scullion. Well, Ben Savard owns the whole Ryan Scullion. Shahid Kirkwick post in on sea. Went to Stachage Declan Barron. Agus Sarah Anna Hossan Jayanovic at the Anna Shadun to Dundee. Agus Disha finish. Dunder in on sea. Kevin McCann, Hannah Tevline, Kieran O'Neill. Kieran O'Neill, went to Gadasiga, Stachal Jim Kelly. Shahid Jim. Anna Hackich the Galoch the Twishka to Jim Kelly, Garrelish oh, push live, Cor live for the fair, Kadoost, Cor live, Nive Cor Koshish of Cor live, Ben the Hush, Agus Chinomatif hit Emre, Schnee Jim Kelly, Edidalov, Beshe Katgalo, Animal Legason, Beded, a Kuyu Carta Boy, and saw a Girodio Knava, Sha on Kuyu Carta Boy, and saw. Agus Stolam Gabishin, Kieran Murphy on Kuyu Cown again. Agus Martniha on Kuyu Cown, by Cown. Kieran Murphy, well, first shoot Cartaboy Hannah on Tarna Cartaboy, Kieran Murphy gets out of board. A shot score against Jim Kelly. Marwil Darudarum Satan, Cartaboy, Fakta Ferro, against Kieran Murphy, Nilan Aurasarum, Agus Girodio Knava, Pashin Emhemu at Road. Chinomatif hit Pana Ford at Cosco, a Barca Croke. In Ishmashin, Pan Lassers the Barach. Agus a Council Bultamach. Agus a Guardian Order, Kieran, Pan Toilish of Hegimert, Kieran Murphy, and Daragolish, Agus Kirkig, Derek, Conor Brosnan, Nacheme Hero, Ada, Shantan Multoid, Anna Giana Shin, Ono Itiesho, Ohoman the Geltochter, Agus, well, my Yahan the Laur, Sha. An Tarna Carta Boisha and Tarna Cown against Kieran Murphy against post Tashe Gimmer to Stolum Gabe KVK Heshu of Blacklear and Tashin Shid of Blacklear Agastan Mult Ta Chris Brown of Derek William Mariala Shin a bit Charlie Redmond the Rana the Borg Tamolig Blacklear is a Tarna Carta Boi Nilisagum Akshahe and Emertilanum today against Fachtige John Collins. Agus Sha Kalish Dienta get Tusahe Forkui Marsin on Flahe Idir Hawk on the Mel Agus the Moir Tevlin at Saganani took a Henaraka and attack a Gaudi Video Canova Agus Gidodimo Agus Animele a Hogan to get Declan Barron Stolum Gabishin and Sheo Cortabui and Baltasar get Declan Barron. Well, Nakaruyev edit coffee boy Barca Croke and so again for him and we pop out against him attack down. Hog now but against Fihet Emre Mehe Agus Eddie Bork. Down on the Hochter. Inish Keyoga Council. Bakta get Pumping against Bakta and Son get Barry Hagerty, Hannigan Bark the Hammer, Barry Chichihit. Agus and Hatch down the Hivwig. Conor Brosnan, Bakta Gadasiga, Goody James Masters. James Masters down the Katoy, Gestaha John Hole, Anna kick, Anna point to get James Masters. Agus the Shine on the Shale Cown, against James Masters. Se bhí sé gáidí ó chéanamh, a sé gáidí níos leis. Agus an tábháil óntach an son ó chéanamh, amachtasteach an sa, Kevin McMahon, amachtasteach tábháil déanta son ag Brian Scullion. Agus inis an mair a cainteis an Maltóid, agus beidir go bhfuil cogur chuir nach luis, mar geall ar a tarna carta buí, Níl, an tála Kieran Murphy go fóil. Seohé, Brian Scullion, macha Jola Park, Kieran na gaidí go háid, leanna na hibuig. Mar sin héin, fachta go deasaige Eddie Burke, gimmert go maitháinna sé ma, James Masters, anna faointe ó chéanamh, bhaid sé ceannaile. James passa na himú, Cormac O'Neill, Chalaisteanta Cormac, an son ag Conor Brosnahan. Mar sin, éon faointe bháin is garún na bhódna, agus chéile sé bheith an lá, is decad a rá, an gríoch nó siad ar cóscór, nó chéile sé bheith an lá, is decad a rá fós. Barry McWigan, bhfuilte go siúd, agus seo ina dhéile tháinig ar a bhart, do bhuiide, Stephen Scullion, Stephen, pachta go deasaige, bhí Stephen ag immert a gréibhóla, bhfuilte go Stephen is decha láslí, ach dreiceann buig, agus sa calaís déanta, is stic sa cearnóig, nó lasmud an cearnóig at son, Ryan O'Regan, Sir kick the Cork, bhfuilte go tappa go dtí Eddie Burke, anna chosan déanta go Eddie sa tarna le. Eddie Hannes lá táidce, agus seohé Mark O'Connor, Ardamánaí, anna felladóid, anna hóiseach na gana, Mark go fóil, an bhaid sé pointe go Mark O'Connor, anna pointer fad, an tarna ceanna go Mark, Ard felladóid, Ardamánaí, agus sinné Mark, ach tá ina dí take ar a bort do chuide, ina dí do chuide, agus an sinna dí Joe Diver take ar a bort, agus gymbecht an bord tá Conan O'Brien is dóilm, amachta Joan Taibhlíne, se Conan O'Brien imithe, agus Joe Diver ar a bord gan áid, Anna Watson hwyr ríiste go Kieran Murphy an tarnáir capta bheith hawn. Agus seohé Barry Hagerty, hannig ar a bord, Glahama, go dtí Kieran Murphy ríist, Kieran leanna catóig, gacha, Jonah Carnoig a Declan Barron agus a stic sa Carnoig, a Chalais and Ryan Scullion, bhfuilte go tappa go Brian tá daid chuidinis, tá siad hápinteach an dédig, ach seohéad Cork, agus nóil ólaide, nóla ólaide, imithe bhuaig apach, bhainte go ige Cormac O'Neill, stecha láslí go dtí Kevin McCann, seohéad duide an bhaid siad cúl, déanta go deasacha, cógluiseach deasacha duide, amachtas isteach Paul Young go fólín, éana ar apach, gan éana tíim poleach, cosantóid í Corcaí, inis tá caudige, Jim Kelly, Jim agus a chatsan bhainte go grótige Kevin McMahon. Pachtanis ige Paul Dean, trastan na páirce agus Corca go déanamh go má, John Collins, agus a tachtamachasa Colm Feeney, agus Chalais déanta Colm Feeney, mar sin timppla nómad a bháin fácas a chluthe Corca an bhana siad an dápainteach an tusaigh. Chris Collins, Derek Dullard in ónsaí, duide ach seohé Eddie Burke, ólaach cosanta Corcaí, bhuilte trasnaige, agus Barry McWigan nach bhuilte Barry go James Masters, anna immer déanta go James, sécín do faointí go dísa. James Masters chun an sir kick a hógant. James Masters agus Calstain cad a Harlowig, mar geall le Kieran Murphy a bheith gimmert an níanag duide agóid sin scéal dó hénig ní fistúin. Seohé James Masters. Bhfuilte go stecha Jonah Carnoig agus bheachta stecha san ríist bhí Mark O'Connor. Cad é mar felladóid ach seohé Gary McMaster, Dreiceann John Collins ach níthe. Bhuilte go agus Stephen Scullion, amacha Jola Park agus seohéad duide Kevin McCann. Nis mar sin seansa go duide. Ruhisteachta Kieran O'Neill tugadh an talún. Agus ní siad sásta le sin. Kieran agus bhuilte go Kieran agus inis ní leatadach éon faointe bháin. Se tá sécín do faointí aimsithe ag Kieran O'Neill. Sin éonsa ná an séú count éon faointe bháin atá atra agus a bhfuil sé an andóibh críoch nóid cóscór a bhainna Corcaigh chun tusaigh. Well, Martin. An chwethe hartan sa agus buite ige Cork le Pinte Moin no on the win Shini an Kecht mar de bhí háchart de buí tucathe de Kieran Murphy agus Kieran Murphy an padlátarce Sinead Multóiditson Gródio Canáha I págan de páidce agus Sineadson Kieran Murphy agus Dandó an para fuid de cart de buí fé hó agus bhfuil sé an án de Corcaig a bheith a greibh ceannis na héad agus cosúil go méidir go bhfuil le éon Pinte Bháin agus buite an sahacha ar chuide an scór dearnach an sa a báid go Croke Corcaig ná de Cúdíag duine ná de Cahardíag.
So then it's Cork into the All-Ireland minor final against either Mayo or Westmeath, or indeed will it be Cork into that minor final? Let's pick up on what Micheál O'Shea was pointing out there to you. Kieran Murphy, the Cork midfielder, had his name taken twice, a yellow card issued twice to him. Pat Spillane, Armagh have grounds for a replay.
Derry.
Derry even have grounds for a replay.
Yes, Derry have probably grounds for a replay because there was an illegal player on the field for the last couple of minutes. It was a terrible mistake by the referee to think that he has four umpires, 2 linesmen and a standby linesman, that somebody didn't have pointed it out to him. So there certainly is grounds for a replay for Derry, and I think we'll be hearing a little bit more about it over the coming week.
Well, this is what happened with Jimmy Cooney in the hurling type of thing, a mistake made by the referee, and there was the replay between Offaly and Clare a couple of years ago, Pat, our column, so that has to be some sort of a precedent here.
Yes, there is a precedent, and I'd say the referee got confused because he was booking so many players, and it was a cynical type of game. There was so much fouling, he was quite entitled to book all the players he did, and obviously he got confused with the amount, and it wasn't as if Kieran Murphy was an incidental character in the game. He actually was a central figure and won a couple of vital balls after he should have been sent off. So I'd say that Chris Brown, the Derry manager, will be having a chat with his county board officials and probably looking for a replay very soon, probably next Sunday.